morning, students. Today we are going to learn the lesson His First Flight. It's a very interesting and fascinating short story written by Liam O'Flaherty. The pronunciation is Liam O'Flaherty. Before we get on to the lesson, I have a riddle for you. I hope you will enjoy the riddle. A butcher is 6 feet tall and wears size 12-inch shoes. What does he weigh? I repeat my riddle. A butcher is 6 feet tall and wears size 12-inch shoes. What does he weigh? Yes, you are right. I could hear you. Answer me. Meat. Because the butcher's work is weighing meat. Who is the butcher? The one who cuts and sells meat. So whether he is short or tall, his work is weighing meat and selling it to people. Good. Good. Let's move on to the lesson. Now the title of the lesson is His First Flight, written by Liam O'Flaherty. Now we should know something about the author. It's a tribute we give to the writer. So Liam O'Flaherty was a 20th century writer. He was an Irish novelist and short story writer. He was ranked as one of the most famous socialist writers of the 21st century. His works are based on psychological analysis and biting satire. Satire is nothing but ridiculing or criticizing the society or a particular group of people and their way of life. Okay, so when I say the name Liam O'Flaherty, what should come to your mind? He is an Irish novelist. Then he is a 20th century writer. He is known for his short stories. To the lesson, I told you the first flight. What does the word flight mean? The word flight means an act of flying. So somebody has flown, has made his flight for the first time. So something intriguing or interesting thing is there with his flight. So now I want to ask you a question. The word fear have two expansions. The first one is fear everything and run. The second expansion is face everything and rise. Two things. First one is fear everything and run. Second one, face everything and rise. When I ask this, most of us will immediately say face everything and rise. I have the grit. I have the nerve to face everything and rise. But is it true in real life? When the opportunity is given, what do we say? No, I can't do it, miss. I'm scared, miss. My friends will laugh at me, miss. I can't do it. But Dr. Abdul Kalam said, if you want to shine like the sun, first you burn like the sun. I repeat his quote. The missile man said, if you want to shine like the sun, first you burn like the sun. Yes, we have to surrender ourselves. We have to succumb ourselves to trials, to the test of life. A troubled sea, a rough sea only can make skilled sailors. This story is all about how a young seagull faced its shortcoming or inhibition or the thing which it thought it is difficult for it. It forgot to realize that some certain qualities are inbuilt, are embedded in us. But when it is compelled to do so, when it is compelled to face the test of time, it realized that that quality is already in it. I don't want to confuse you more. Let's get on to the lesson. Now let me read the lesson. The young seagull was alone on the ledge. As I told you, the story is all about a young seagull. Who is a young seagull? Seagull is the bird that lives near a sea, was alone on the ledge. So no one was with the bird. It is on the ledge. Ledge in Tamil we say vilimbu. Any projection. Here it's a cliff or horizontal surface projecting from a cliff. Okay. So the bird is all alone standing on a cliff. His two brothers and sister had already flown away the day before. So how many siblings it had? Two brothers and a sister. What achievement they did? They had already flown away. He had been afraid to fly with them. He had to fly with them, but he is afraid. He panicked to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. You may think he didn't try anything. No, we are wrong. He tried. It took a few steps further, tried to flap its wings and tried to lift its body up. But it failed because he became afraid. The basic thing is, he is afraid. He is frightened to move further. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath. What is below the cliff? There is a great expanse, பெரிய கடல். The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath. Beneath means below. Below the cliff there is a far stretched sea. And it was such a long way down, miles down. So what is its fear? If it fails to fly, it will fall face down in the sea. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. What did he believe? He believed, he is sure or he is certain that his wings will not support the bird. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. So his nest is under the sledge. So in the next moment, he ran back to his nest and slept there all alone. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings and flew away. His siblings, his brothers and sister, they are not smarter than this bird. Their wings are not longer than this bird's wings, but they had the grit. They had that brave. They are brave. They had the grit or nerve. They were courageous enough to take steps further. So they flew away. He failed to muster up courage. Muster up means gather. This bird, this young seagull, failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. So it doesn't have courage to take that effort. That plunge means that effort which appeared to him so desperate. He is hopeless. He is very upset. He is sad and he is desperate. He is distressed. He said, "No, my wings won't support me. I will fall headlong in the sea. I am not like my brothers and sister." So it didn't take any further step to meet his need or to make the first flight. Now what happens? His father and mother had come around ledge, a narrow horizontal shelf projecting from a wall or a cliff, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on the ledge unless he flew away. Now what is the role of the parents? The parents are encouraging him. They are scolding him. They are screaming at him to make to help him fly. He has to fly. So they are with a shrilling voice, they are screaming at him to encourage him to make his first flight. Upbraiding him, திட்டுறாங்க. They are scolding him. Then they are threatening him, மிரட்டுறாங்க. Starve on his ledge unless he flew away. Unless and until he tries to fly away, he has to starve to death. Pasichi sagano. But for the life of him, he could not move. But he says, whatever happens, let it happen. I can't move from here. I can't flap my wings and I can't fly in the air. I will fall down. My wings will not support me. I will starve to death. So parents are angry, first screaming at him, then scolding him, then threatening him, but it's of no use. That was 24 hours ago. The whole thing happened 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. Now, nobody is coming close. யாரும் பக்கத்துல வரல. The day before, all day long, so 24 hours before, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So the whole day, parents were busy perfecting the flight of his siblings. எப்படி பறக்கிறது? How to dive and catch the fish. How to skim the waves. How to cut through the wind. எப்படி காட்டை கிழிச்சு பறக்கிறது? எப்படி டைவ் பண்ணி ஃபிஷ்ஷை பிடிக்கிறது? So the parents were busy perfecting the children how to fly. Now, he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. What his elder brother did? He caught his first catch. So he caught a fish and the next moment he devoured it. He swallowed it. அப்படியே விழுங்கிட்டு now the seagull is standing, the elder brother is standing on a rock. The parents and his siblings, they were just circling him, celebrating his victory. The first catch was like first victory for him. Wow, my son did it. My son made his first flight, then caught his first catch. The parents, both father and mother, celebrating that, and they are making proud cackle, proud noise, screeching sound we can say. They were celebrating by making noises. All the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. The whole morning the parents walking, they were now in the opposite cliff and they were celebrating their children and they were perfecting their flight, but at the same time they were criticizing this young seagull. They were mocking at him. They were just insulting or criticizing, or we can say sarcastically making fun of him. The sun was now ascending the sky. Now the sun is coming up, blazing on his ledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Since yesterday he had not eaten anything. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing. He closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. So nobody came near him. He didn't eat anything. Slowly he came out of his nest. He came to the brink of the cliff, standing there. He was standing on one leg, hiding another leg, and he was pretending as if he fell asleep. He was closing one eye and opening another one, and he was just pretending as if he fallen asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. He saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. So the siblings, they fell asleep. The father was preening. He is cleaning the feathers on his white beak. Only his mother was looking at him. Father busy cleaning his feathers, mother only noticing him. She was standing on a little high hump of the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now she is standing and she is doing something. What is that? Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of the beak on the rock. Now she is tearing pieces of fish and she is swallowing it. She is eating it. After each tear, she just sharpens her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. Now he is provoked. He is angry. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. How I used to எப்படி கிழிச்சு சாப்பிடுவேன். How I used to tear the fish. Then after tearing, how sharp my beaks are. Every now and then I scrape it to sharpen it. அப்படியே பழன்னு ஷார்ப் பண்ணி வச்சு how beautifully I tear fish and eat it. Ga, ga, ga. He cried, begging her to bring him some food. Gaukola? She screamed back derisively. So he is pleading, this young seagull is pleading his mother to give him little. But mother is angry. She is screaming back. கத்துறாங்க, mocking at him. In a mocking way, in a insulting way. அப்படி கிண்டல் பண்றாங்க. But she is not ready to give her food. But he kept calling plaintively. This poor fellow, sadly she is calling him. She is begging his mother to give him food. After a minute or so, he uttered a joyful scream. Something is going to happen. He is very happy now. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. Now mother is having a piece of fish in her beak and flying across to him. She is coming closer to him with a piece of fish. He leaned out eagerly. Now he is very eager. He stretched out his neck and he is eagerly waiting for the bit. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet. He is just tapping the rock with his 2 feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. When she came near him, he is trying to get nearer and nearer. And he wanted to have that catch. What happens? Let's see. But when she was just opposite to him, she halted, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. Now mother has come closer to him. He is reaching out for the fish, but his mother is motionless. Her wings are not flying. It is not coming. The wings are not coming closer to him. She is still in the air, but he couldn't control himself because he is hungry. He is starving since last night. So the sight of the food maddened him. He dived towards the food. He forgot the whole thing. He dived at the food. With a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space. Where is he now? He is in the air. வானத்திலே இருக்கிறான். Downwards and upwards. கீழே போய் மேலே போயிட்டு வந்துட்டு இருக்கிறான். Then a monstrous terror seized him and his heart stood still. Monstrous, a big, a grand terror. Fear seized him. The fear caught hold of him. பயத்துல அப்படியே his heart stood still. Heart is frozen. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a minute. For a single minute, that fear lasted. The fear gripped him. The next moment, he felt his wings spread outwards. The next moment, he spread his wings outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers and then his stomach and again his wings. Now he could feel the wind coming and beating against his breast. and against his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. Air வந்து wings, the tips of his wings cut through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He is not falling down. He was soaring gradually downwards and upwards. Now he is going up and down in the air. He was no longer afraid. His fear is gone. He just felt a bit dizzy. It is like a bit tired. He felt a bit weary. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upwards again. Now he is flapping with all his curiosity and interest and soaring. He is flying upwards. Ga, 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 ga. Kokola, his mother, swooped far past him, her wings making a loud noise. She was flying, going past him. He answered her with another scream. Immediately he answers his mother's cry. Then his father flew over him screaming. Father is also screaming. Father is also celebrating his flight. He saw his two brothers and his sister flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving. Brothers and sister, they are also flying up and down. They were tearing the sky, tearing the air and making their flight. And they were also celebrating. They were also being a part of that celebration, banking and soaring and diving. They are diving up and down in the air, and they were enjoying the moment. So what happens in the end? Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly, and commended himself to dive and soar and curve, shrieking shrilly. So what is his condition now? He forgot the fact that in the beginning what he thought? He thought that he could not fly. Now he forgot that. He didn't think that he could not fly no longer. Now he is diving, soaring, curving. He is taking lot of jumps in the space. He is screaming. He is making a loud noise. He is screaming. And he is flying with all happiness because he made it. He was near the sea, now flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. Now see a path, it was flying towards the sea. He saw a vast green sea beneath him. Beneath, what is the meaning of the word beneath? Beneath means below him, under him. So it was going towards the sea. How is the sea? With little ridges moving over it. You can see small waves, small waves, tiny waves, with little ridges moving over it, and turned his beak sideways and cawed amusedly. Cawed means calling. He cried amusedly, happily, with all sort of happiness and with all smiles and delight. It was flying. His parents and his brothers and sister had landed on this green flooring ahead of him. His parents and siblings are already on the sea. They are floating on the sea. They were beckoning to him, beckoning, calling. They were encouraging him. They were signaling him to come down. Calling shrilly. Again, they were all screaming in happiness. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. Now, he dropped his legs first. காலை கீழே விடுது தண்ணியில. His legs sank into it, but his legs are sinking. மூழ்குது கால்கள். He screamed with fright and attempted to raise again, flapping his wings. In fear, now it panicked. Why it is sinking? Instead of floating, or it thought it could walk on the floor of the sea, or on the surface of the sea. But the legs are sinking, so it frightened. He screamed with fright, கத்துது பயத்துல, and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. So, just to escape from this, the bird is trying to lift its body up and fly. But he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. Since the previous night, it didn't eat anything. It was starving, so it was tired, very weak. it drained all its energy with hunger. So it could not rise. எழும்ப முடியல. Exhausted by the strange exercise. Now it is flying for some time. So it drained all its energy. It's now worn out. So it is not able to raise its body out of water. His feet sank into the green sea. Feet full mungiduchu. And then his belly touched it. Then the belly touched water. The tummy, stomach touched water. And he sank no further. But he did not sink. What happened? The legs sank in water, belly felt water, belly touched water level, but he didn't sank no further. He sank no further. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. Now he is floating and his family was screaming, praising. They were making a lot of noise, praising him, and they were offering him food in its mouth. They were celebrating his first flight, so they were celebrating by giving fish to its beak. He had made his first flight. So he had made his first flight. He was successful in making his attempt. So everyone is celebrating by giving fish and making and screaming and yelling and encouraging it for that. So we learned the lesson today. I hope you understood the lesson. Students, now we are going to learn some synonyms. The lesson becomes complete when we learn the new words and vocabularies along with the meanings. So let me introduce you some new words from the lesson. Ledge. What is ledge? I told you it's a jannaloram or a vilimbu, a narrow horizontal self-projecting from a wall or cliff. A narrow horizontal self-projecting from a wall or cliff. Next one, upbraiding. Upbraiding. The seagull's parents upbraided him, scolded him, திட்டினாங்க. Herring. Herring is a soft-finned fish. Herring is a kind of fish. Third one, taunting. Taunting, teasing, mocking, கிண்டல் பண்றது. A kind of mocking or teasing. Desperate, hopeless, anxious, distressed, நம்பிக்கை இழக்கிறது. Preening. Preening means cleaning. The father, the seagull's father was preening his feathers. Cleaning. Whet, to sharpen. The seagull whet its beak. Eighth one, derisively, mockingly, sarcastically, in a very sarcastic manner, criticizing manner or insulting manner, way. They were mocking at the bird. Plaintively, sad, lamenting. The seagull was not having any food since the previous night, so it was pleading for food plaintively. கெஞ்சுறது. Seized, held, grabbed. The fear seized the bird. Fear seized the bird. Swooped, dived, jumped and fly down. தாவுறது. Swooped. Dizzy, shaky, faint or losing one's balance. நடுங்கிறது. பசியில, in hunger. Curveting, leaping like a horse, taking a series of jumps. jump பண்ணி போறது. Curveting, taking a series of jump. Banking, flying with one wing higher than the other. Just imagine how the birds fly, how the eagles fly. So one wing higher than the other. Beckoning, signaling, gesturing, calling with signals. சைகை காட்டி கூப்பிடுறது. Exhausted, tired, worn out. Belly, tummy, stomach, வயிறு. Okay, now let's test our understanding. I have given you some words. Making use of any one of these words, you have to fill in the blanks. If you know the answer, you can do it. Otherwise, once again go learn and come back. She went on dash him until he lost his temper. Which word is appropriate from the given words? He went on scolding him. Any other word here for scolding or teasing? Yes, you are right. Taunting. She went on taunting him until he lost his temper. Very good. Second one. His failure made him. He lost his hope. Any other word here we have for hopelessness? Yes, desperate. His failure made him desperate, hopeless. Hey, you, she called, dash me over with her finger. She's signaling the person. She was calling me by signaling. What is the word for signal? Yes, beckoning. You are right, beckoning. The long journey dashed the children. They are worn out, weary. Any other word for that? I have given you a word here. Exhausted. You are right, exhausted. We crept carefully along the narrow. We crept carefully along the narrow vilimbu. What is another word for that narrow space? Yes, ledge. Along the narrow ledge. The captain dashed his men for falling asleep. Titrar. Scolding. Another word for scolding. Find out from the given words. Yes, you are right. Upbraid. Upbraided his men for falling asleep. Tungaden titraru. Rare birds dash themselves right in front of a camera. Clean their feathers. What is the another word? What is the other word for the word cleaning? Yes, cleaning the feathers, preening the feathers. You are right. Rare birds preen themselves right in front of your camera. Dash the opportunity when it comes up. Grab the opportunity. Chance varma pidichigo. What is that? Grab. Another word for grab. Seize. Very good. Seize the opportunity when it comes up. The eagle hovered, ready to dash at any moment. The eagle hovered, ready to. Another word, pounce. It is ready. The eagle hovered, ready to dash at any moment. Can you give me any other word? Yes, you are right. The eagle hovered, ready to swoop at any moment. Swoop at any moment. Thank you, students. Happy learning. Have a good day.